In this video, guys, I'm going to talk about how a 50 grand intraday swing finally taught me to respect risk. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. All right, so many years ago, I was trading the DAX, one of my favorite instruments at the time, still one of my favorite vehicles to trade. DAX, Dow, US stocks. You know, I've kind of gone through a lot of different phases of the markets I've traded, depending on the volatility of the market, the kind of type of trader that I'm kind of nurturing, all these kind of different things as we go through different trading career. Those of you, some of you know, guys, I started in 2001. So this was probably, I would say 7 years after that. I'm kind of guessing around that, maybe a little bit less. But I was trading the DAX. And one of my favorite vehicles, or one of the favorite things I like to do, was just be super aggressive on trades. Now, it worked out okay in the end, and I'll kind of tell you the long story at some other point in time. But it was very, very aggressive. I was leveraging a lot on the kind of profits in the deal, and I was scaling up my position size as the market went my way. So this particular trade, I'd have a position on here, long, and I would add to the long every time I kind of went in profit and was pulling back. So market came up, I'd add some more, market came up, add some more, add some more, add some more, add some more. I keep adding and I keep dragging my stop up. So technically speaking, you know, if you get triggered on the stop, your loss is still going to be the same because you're moving out very tight. Now, this meant that I get stopped out quite a lot of times, but what it did mean is that when I got on the end of a really big move, I would have big size on and it would create a really big winning trade. So this was kind of the way that I wanted to really accelerate my growth early on in my career. We want to kind of boost my account balance and say, okay, well, listen, time to put the throttle down. How can I really 10x my account, 100x my account, really get it going in a very short period of time without going crazy and putting it all on one trade? So this seemed like a good idea to me at the time. And, you know, actually, you know, depending on your situation and circumstances, I wouldn't say that it's a bad idea to do it, but we'll go through what happened in a moment. But, you know, adding to the position, using the profit as leverage for the next, it's super aggressive, guys, and it's super risky, and the chance of you blowing up pretty high. But hey, you know what? Trading's trading. If you understand the risks involved in it, you roll the dice, you take your chances sometimes. So this was it. I was just scaling it, adding, you know, super aggressively, just using the profits that were marked to market on the trade to add some more positions. So super aggressive. Anyway, so the point is with this is that, I mean, I was adding, and I had a really big, sizable long position. And I got to the point where I wouldn't put a stop in because it was kind of becoming a bit erroneous, and it sounds stupid to say that now. And it is, guys, is I was so aggressive with this, I kind of got to the point where I didn't want to put a stop in. I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll just come out when it comes against me. I'm ready, I'm quick on the finger, you know, I'm a sharp trader, I'm quick, blah, blah, blah. So I'm in this huge position size, you know, relative to my account. It was pretty huge to be making this kind of swing. Shot up, market shot up, bang. All of a sudden, I'm up 20 grand. I'm up 20,000 pounds in the space of 30 seconds. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? I'll take that. That's a good result. I'm already pretty decent size on this. This market just spiked. I don't know what reason it is. Great, let me come out of the position. Went to take my whole position out, nothing. Nothing coming back from the dealer, nothing coming back from the broker, just nothing. Okay, what's going on here? So try again, nothing. Internet's still working, feed's still working. This thing is still creeping high. By the way, this was probably about here I started to do that. So now we've got probably another 5K in the book. On the bank, not necessarily in the bank yet, in an unrealized P&L at this point. And of course, I'm a big size, I'm trying to get out of this position. All of a sudden, you know, I'm realizing that this, you know, for some reason I can't get out of it. Maybe the broker's gone fast market. And bear in mind, guys, this was a long time ago. You know, this was, you know, way before stuff was instant execution. You had no problems getting filled up to, you know, pretty much any size you want on the thicker markets. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of the brokers now will take about £1,000 a point without even blinking because the technology allows them to do that. Anyway, this ticket wasn't going through. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll try and split it. So I split it in half. I put the order through and still nothing. So now I'm starting to think, oh, you know, I wouldn't mind banking this. And now we're getting this, you know, it's starting to come down. So I'm starting to see pretty decent size swinging on the P&L. So I decided to split it into really small amounts, as small as I could get it. Not stupidly small, that would take me ages, but you get the point. It's much smaller. Try and split it into tenths. Try and put a ticket through. Nothing, rejected, or just hanging there, just something just not going on. And I'm thinking, I need to get this done pretty quick, and this is going to come back on me because I don't know what the spike is. I'm not interested. I'm just interested in getting out of this position. Try and call on the phone. No one's picking up the phone. So I'm now stuck in this position with huge size that, okay, is in a decent profit, and I'm thinking I want to grab this. All of a sudden, things change pretty much for the worse, and the market starts to do this. So I start to see all of this profit disappear, and we go back to maybe a couple of grand up, couple of £100 up, whatever it was, almost back to break even. And I'm thinking, that profit's disappeared. How annoying, I couldn't get out. That's so frustrating. But then, you know what? As you can imagine, guys, it gets worse. So now the market starts to do this, and I start to see some pretty big, horrible negative numbers come up on my screen. And I am now gone from Mr. Happy Face up here to Mr. Oh dear. And I think I probably use language that's a little bit harsher than that. Oh dear, I am now in big trouble, because of course you start to think, I'm stuck in this with massive size. Where could this go? This could now just go wipe me out completely. Easily wipe me out completely. I don't even know if they had like automatic closure of positions, which they do now for the margin at the time. Probably not. And this could have just decimated my account, just absolutely hammered me. So I'm there thinking, right, well, what do I do with this now? I'm still I just want to reduce the load, I just want to reduce the position. So I'm trying to get out of this position. I can't do anything. I'd stalled it a bit. I'm just kind of waiting and thinking, right, if I can trim it and lighten the load, I'll feel more comfortable. I can manage this thing. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, who knows what, hindsight shoulda, woulda, coulda. Years ago, it's a lesson that we'll talk about in a moment, is not necessarily the traders so much. Anyway, it starts now to kind of come back up, and it starts to stagnate around here, and I'm down about a couple of grand at the moment. And this is a swing, by the way, guys, of being up 25 or up 20, down 30. It was pretty much a 50k swing. The exact number, I wasn't counting the exact number, but it felt like around that number, 48 to 55, something like that. Pretty hefty swing. And going up, swinging back down again. Now I'm thinking, if this thing just falls through the floor, I'm down 100k. I'm just 100k bill just coming from the broker to pay, which isn't the best thing to drop on one trade. Anyway, it comes back up, and now the market starts to calm down. It's flicking up and down, and I eventually managed to get tickets through. I eventually managed to scale out position. But now I'm thinking, okay, I'm down a little bit. I need to just try to get out of this, because I don't want to be stuck in it. I don't want to have this. I don't care now almost what happens. Obviously it'd be nice for it to go back straight back up again, but I don't care. I feel vulnerable that I'm in a position size that is really too big for me, and I don't have much control over, and I can't get out of it. There's no worse a feeling. So anyway, cutting this story to an end of the trade, I came out, a couple of grand loss, and I got the whole thing flat. So not too bad of a cost for a mistake. Could have been a lot more. Let's imagine that had gone through the floor there. That could have been game over for me. Or maybe if I'd kind of panicked out of it and got filled down here, again, horrible loss that would have taken me a long time to claw back up. So the moral of this story, guys, is that, is to respect the risk you're taking. I thought that this plan was good. And you know what? I've used this since, I've used it previous, but I've just been more sensible about how to put the stop in. Make sure the stop loss is in, make sure you're not going really crazy with it. This was, really leveraging myself up. No harm in kind of pyramiding into a position, but still being able to weather a little bit of storm. And the other thing, guys, is to know where the hidden risk is in what you're doing. I didn't understand and I didn't consider the hidden risk that the broker goes down, the exchange goes down, the broadband connection goes down. Any of these things could happen, which, yes, they're rare. They were more common back then, but they're rare. They still could happen. And the consequences of that happening could be that you wipe out. Now, that's a huge consequence for something that might happen, say, I don't know, let's say one every 200 days. That's not that great odds. You think, hello, you could be in trouble here. And at the end of the day, guys, as well, these things tend to go down and there's a lot of load on them, especially brokers and exchanges. Again, not so much anymore because we've seen a lot of volatility and exchanges and brokers have all been very, very good. But the point is, guys, there's a hidden risk, and the hidden risk is, hey, how do I always make sure that whatever trade I'm taking, it is never, ever, 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 ever going to be a trade that wipes me out. There's no trade that is worth that. And if you're leveraging yourself up, there is a consequence, of course, it's just a fall through the floor. Some news came out. Guys, remember the Swiss peg. Anything could come out and you could have a stop and you're just wiped out. Now, of course, you've got to accept some risk and stuff. And sometimes you think, well, you know what, the chances of really something really crazy happening, slim, could happen in my favor. You kind of take the risk. This is a big game to play. But, you know, it's also taught me about redundancy, also taught me about having a backup broker, taught me about having, you know, making sure that you've got your broker's account number in your phone in case your broadband goes down, your computer goes down, power cut, all those eventualities. And I've talked about kind of redundancy planning before. They're very simple to do, but once you've done it, you know your process. You're like, my broker's gone down, right. I can't get through to him. What I need to do is I need to log into my other broker and take an opposite position immediately and hedge this. So if I'd have done that, let's say I got in, by the time I got through, I got here, and I probably locked in 15K, and I'd have been right, fine. And now I'll just unwind the thing, and I've had a loss in one, a profit in the other, unwound it, but net I'd have been up. But I didn't have that in place. I didn't have that. And also, I don't think it was necessarily the profit that I didn't lock in that was the issue. It was the fact that this thing could have just fallen through the floor and I'd have no control of it. I'd have just watched that thing go lower and lower and lower with, you know, size that was way too much for what I should have been trading, and then nothing I could have done about it. And so there's a good lesson there of respecting the risk of the market, respecting your position size. This is not necessary to be doing this to increase account size. You know, there's different ways of doing it. Pyramiding's fine, but sensibly. You know, aggressive pyramiding, you're really leaving yourself vulnerable. And the other thing is, you know, just having redundancy planning, just understanding what you're going to do if things go wrong. Because if you're in this business for a long period of time, things will go wrong. You will get caught out. I've got other stories as well that I'll probably share with you at some other point in time. So you look at other books, and become a bookshelf here. You know, Trading Sardines, Linda Bradford-Rashke talks a lot about some of the things when she got caught out many times on the wrong end of stuff, and she had to claw her way back. You know, and it's the clawing back. You think, well, you know, that's the perseverance part of it, and that's how we stay in the game for as long as we are, but it is one of those things. So anyway, guys, that's the lesson. Just be careful about your position sizing, just be careful about your risk, be careful about the hidden risk where you don't expect it to come from. Make sure you got a redundancy plan in, and don't go too crazy. Keep your risk managed, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to check out our channel sponsor as well, as a link to them in the description below. Take care. Bye-bye.